It was just like when we got to Fort Hood. We didn't know what we were doing or how to act or anything else. And the Upshur pulled into Da Nang. I think it was Da Nang. Yeah, Da Nang. And then we got on something called an LST. It looked like a huge barge that was empty in the middle. You had plenty of room to stand up and walk down in this. And it was wet in the bottom of it, and it was not nice to ride on. So we felt pretty bad, and some people threw up still on that. And we took it down to Chulai. And when we got to Chulai, we stayed in barracks, little crummy barracks. And there were lots of Marines around. I guess we were on a Marine base. And we had ice cream that was not a liquid. It was really frozen ice cream. And we had lots of good food, and all the food you could eat. And we thought, well, Vietnam's not going to be too bad. But it got worse after that. And when we first got to Chulai, the LST would open up on one side, and we walked out and in formation, and General Westmoreland was there, and we were all kind of happy about that. Went to a place called Duck Pho. And that's the first time we spent the night in a sandbag bunker. A bunch of us were from Texas, of course, and including Sergeant Van Horn, and he put a Texas flag up over his bunker, and it wasn't long before a general sent word that we needed to take the Texas flag down. I guess he would have preferred the U.S. flag, I guess. And when we left Duck Pho, we marched, and we marched to our first base camp. There's a fire base camp, which is way out in the boonies, and a base camp, which is in a much safer place and lots more people. And so we walked into, I believe it was called Bayonet. And we stayed at Bayonet just a little while. We were moved to bridge duty. And I don't remember a lot about bridge duty, except it was a big bridge, and I guess somebody from North Vietnam had blown it up, and it was in really bad shape. But people could walk down an angle and then cross over barely over the water. Well, you were all over the water, but they had patched it up so you could pass through, and then you'd go back up. And I do remember one thing from bridge duty. One night, Sergeant Van Horn came in with a bunch of shrimp, and we took, if I remember right, we took a 5-gallon barrel and cooked those shrimp in it, and they were delicious, lots better than the sea rations we had been eating. I imagine it was just Army protocol, who got an M79, who got an M16. And I hated the M79 grenade launcher, although I killed my first guy with one, got a prisoner with one, but I didn't like it. It just didn't seem very lethal to me. And Van Horn did have me walk point a couple of times, but everybody was sharing walking point because it's not really a safe place to be. Nobody wanted to walk point really, except I did, stupidly, because I didn't trust these guys from New York City and Los Angeles. They'd never been in the woods before. In fact, after we got to Vietnam about 3 or 4 weeks, there was a couple of guys that accidentally let their weapons go off. still after all that training and everything. So I thought I should be up front where I could see where we were going and maybe protect myself a little better. Later on, when I was walking point a lot for other people, and there was a guy named Jones who walked a lot of point in my platoon, I decided that it was really nice of me to walk point all the time because it helped keep the other guys in my platoon safe. At first, I just wanted to see where we were going, but then I decided it was a good thing to protect people. And I guess my training in Allentown was good because I never had any of the enemy sneak up on me or find me before I found them. I can't really remember when I got rid of the M79, but it was quite a ways into our tour of 1 year. Like I said, I absolutely hated the M79, and one day somebody came from the base camp and he had two shotguns, and he asked if anybody wanted them, which surprised me because it's against the Geneva Convention, I think, still, to use a shotgun. You're supposed to use a rifle or other approved weapons. And a lieutenant said he wanted a shotgun, and he got the good one that was in quite good shape. And I got an old crummy one. I loved it, and it did great as a point man weapon, but it was in pretty bad shape. So you loaded it up. You had 4 rounds in the magazine, 1 round in the barrel. And when I would shoot 1 round to get another one in the barrel, I would jack it back, and then it would ride up on a little lever and go into the barrel. But the last one, the 4th one that you jack back and put into the barrel, when you did that and started to put the 5th one in the barrel, it just fell out on the ground. So in reality, it was a 4-shot shotgun. It was double-aught buck for nearly my whole tour. I think later on they got some other rounds, like I think one of them shot a few darts, and I can't remember anything about the others, but it seemed like they came out with some special for the shotgun. And the double-aught buck had 9 double-aught buckshot in it, and it was very effective on people. Well, mostly walking point, I was just looking for any kind of movement or anything that didn't look in place. It varied, but nearly all the time they were in a foxhole and really hidden except for maybe their head, or maybe if they stayed down in the foxhole, you couldn't see them until you were right up on the hole. You couldn't see the hole until you got right up on it. We were always scared. You were scared 24 hours a day, which is why I guess people come back with PTSD. But one day I was on point, and we were starting up this little hill, and it was kind of odd because the trail went around the hill, and then it went up a little bit and kept going like that until it got to the top. And because you were kind of cut into the side of the hill, right up here, it was a bluff bank, and somebody could have been dug in on that bluff bank on the top, and I would have been mincemeat. But luckily, nobody was on that hill that day. We went out and walked through woods and the jungle, you know, I think they were just getting us used to being there. And once they got to thinking maybe we knew a little bit of what we were supposed to do, we did start going out on night ambushes, and sometimes with patrols that were just 1/4 of the platoon, and we go out in different directions. And our captain, Brennan, he always just wanted us to be looking, trying to bump into NVA or Viet Cong. Around Christmas, and I know for sure on New Year's Day, Van Horn came and got us to go out on a night ambush. And I got paired up with a guy who'd only been there 3 or 4 days, and he was scared. He was completely scared. And of course, everybody was scared, but he was really scared, just as you would be as a new person. And so I told him that I was going to go to sleep, and he needed to stay up all night and be sure nobody snuck up on us. And he did that. I got a good night's sleep, and he did not. When we first got there to Bayonet, like I said, we did go out on patrols a lot. And if we were going out in the boonies and staying there, then we would do little patrols with 1/4 of the platoon going this way and another 1/4 going that way. And I don't remember where we were, but we had a guy sneak up on our perimeter and throw a grenade or two, and that was the first time we had a person injured. And he got some shrapnel in his leg and got to go home. So we knew right then it'd be nice to get wounded just a little bit so you could go home. And getting into January, we'd been there a few months, and they started thinking we kind of knew what we were doing, and we felt like we were starting to learn what to do. So we were more like real soldiers by that time.